and I'm Rikupekka from University of Jyväskylä, and I'm telling you about how to organize a Plone sprint based on one experience from last summer. And this was our first Plone sprint in the University of Jyväskylä, and you can find the sprint webpage from this address if you want to see whatever we did there. And this is how it started. At first, what is a sprint? It's a focused period of time when you do some programming work, trying to focus on finishing tasks in that time, and usually co-located. And it comes from agile software development, that term. And we at University of Jyväskylä, we like open source, and we have used Plone since 2004, so it would be nice to host a Plone sprint in Jyväskylä. And we got this idea about a year ago that we could host a sprint in Finland, in the middle of nowhere, and we thought about a topic and time frame when we could host a sprint. But why would anyone want to come to Finland? This is our traditional dessert in Easter time, and it's always cold, and in summer it rains for 40 days and 40 nights, but obviously it rains in Barcelona too, so it's okay. And people would come to Finland because of Plone, yes. If you hold a Plone sprint, they will come. And these are things I'm gonna go through, how to fund a sprint, and I talk about locations and marketing and website and selecting a theme and so on, planning the whole week, and maybe about some activities to bring people together during the sprint. And also about the importance of sprint in an open source community, the way of doing this. Open source is supposed to be free, but you need some funding to host a sprint actually. So at first we started by calculating and estimating how much it would cost to host a sprint for 10 to 20 people. We would have 5 or 6 of our own and hopefully get about 10 people more from all around the world. So we calculated that maybe maximum of 5,000 euros it would cost, including accommodation and lunches and dinner and location and stuff like that. Also, we got funding from Plone Foundation, some plane tickets, that was nice. But usually in Plone sprints, the participants have to pay for their own flights and hotels. So 1 year ago, during this time, we estimated the costs, we asked for funding, we got it, and that was really nice that we were able to host this. And we asked for general interest among Plone community, and it was there, the interest. We added a minimal website, when the sprint would be and what the topic would be. And we started to inform the community that please attend. Last winter we booked locations. At university we have good rooms and we have good internet. We thought about some of the activities we could do together there. We updated the website and did some more advertising and booked activities, which I will tell you more about. Okay, first we needed to find a room for about 20 people. That was quite easy. We thought about what activities we could do with about 20 people. We thought about renting a sauna boat for Lake Jyväskylä, but it was only for 12 people, so that wouldn't work, so something else. Also, to help the sprint participants to come easily to Finland, we listed hotels nearby. We asked about the student village, which is a low-cost place in Jyväskylä. Some participants could stay there, and we could also fund their stay in there. And we gave some other travel tips to the participants. About website and marketing, we use this coactivate.org. It's free and hosted wiki system. And we also told about friends and colleagues and social media and more in Plone community about this sprint. This is the wiki page for Midsummersprint. Nothing too fancy, but it gets the thing done. Every participant, maybe I'll show you, every participant could log into this wiki and they could update their own information here, who they are, where they come from, the dates they are going to be at Jyväskylä, are they sure about their coming, and would they need extra SIM cards, and would they need accommodation help from our university. So that kind of stuff. And then, of course, lots of information about the sprint itself. When the summer came, well, the sprint was held in July, so this was in beginning of June. We sent lots of email, or at least one big email with all the information the participants would need. And we made sure that everyone would be easily get from the airport from Helsinki to Jyväskylä, which is in the middle of Finland, by train or some other means, and from airport or bus train station to their hotel. And just before the sprint started, I went to a local supermarket and bought some refreshments and coffee and stuff like that to keep us fresh during the sprint days. And this was really important. It's not, of course, it's about programming. So if you have a sprint, please make sure you have your development ticket somewhere well documented, so when people come, it's easy for them to start working on certain things you would like them to work on. Okay, this was our sprint location, Agora building in Jyväskylä, University of Jyväskylä. Nice corner building up there. We had a lake view, we had a fireplace and a kitchen just nearby, and even the piano, which I think Philip played a couple of times. And it was a really nice location. About sprint theme, our sprint theme was, we were trying to focus on polishing the user experience of content editors in Plone 5.1. So I think sprint should usually have a theme so people could focus on getting some certain thing done. And maybe a concrete goal for that sprint, like releasing Plone 5.1. But you shouldn't limit the options for participants. If they have a pet project of their own for Plone, just let them work on it. And it's just, most important thing is that someone comes and you have the group working together there. Okay, our sprint, and usually I think Plone sprints are for a week, so we planned for the whole week, and the plan needed to be more detailed for the beginning of the week, when we would eat and when we would go someplace, and where could everyone find what they needed for. And in a Plone community, we noticed that Plone developers, those experienced ones, they are usually very self-organized. They have been to other sprints, so they are easy guests in my opinion. They know what to do and how to do it. But if you have new Plone people, new people coming, they appreciate more detailed plan on what you are doing and how. Our typical sprint day was from 9 to about 5 to 6. It was a long day. We started with the presentation on some hopefully interesting topic. Then a couple of hours of work in pairs or in small groups, but preferably together not on your own. And then we had a 1 hour lunch break and more work. And wrap up at about 5 p.m. So everyone told what they were working on, and we wrote a blog post about that day. And every day we had a dinner together. So it didn't stop at 6 p.m., but we went to dinner and discussed more about Plone and life itself. And after dinner, late in the night, people went to their hotel rooms and programmed even more until they dropped for exhaustion. And next day the same thing continued. Yes. Behind the scenes on a regular sprint day, make coffee. Make sure you have coffee a lot. That's important. If you can, arrange a video stream and make sure everyone has electricity for their laptops. And I also noticed that during the sprint day you had to run around on errands as a host, so you will need at least one people of the hosts to do some non-programming stuff. That's very useful. Okay. Activities. Plone community, it was to do things together, it makes you create more things and better things, and the community aspect is really important. So we had lunches and dinners together, we organized a field trip and museum tour, and they help to relax the atmosphere, and if there are newcomers, it's easy for them to come along on a non-Plone specific thing. It doesn't have to be super special, but something that everyone gets to participate. So, this was a museum tour. It was okay. This one was really nice. It was an actual field trip. We went hiking a small road to this lakeside view, and we made some sausages on a fireplace, and it was really nice sunny weather, as you can see here. And this is one interesting thing about Plone sprints, and I think even Plone conferences, that families are welcome. I'm sure it's the same thing about other communities, but if you can take your kid or your wife or spouse together and take them to the dinners and other activities outside the programming. And why not programming too? Yes, dinners together. And of course in Finland we will arrange a sauna evening, and it was really nice. And of course it wasn't just having fun together. Well, programming is fun, and improving Plone is fun. So mostly it was this after the activities. Yes. Then we did a blog post every day, as I told you. We tweeted on what we were doing, and I think any publicity on your open source work is good publicity, usually. So keep making noise about the things you do. It's generally a good thing. About this Co-Activate wiki page, I'm not sure it was a perfect solution. It was quite slow, and adding images was kind of cumbersome, and it did have the most modern user experience. It did have many features, like adding members was easy enough, and it has wiki pages, and it has blog, and there was a discussion board. But as a Plone community, I think we could have or should have a hosted Plone environment where everyone could have their Plone sprint pages, like eating your own dog food, not using some other wiki to make content to internet. Of course, we could have just created a Plone 5 site and put the stuff there, but for some reason we started using this wiki. Yeah. Live stream and videos. it's nice that also here at the conference we have stream and videos. We used our Plone-based moniviestin system. We have the recordings and live stream, and it's usually really good to have a good microphone. And if you can capture the screen using a software, it will enhance the image quality. But if you want, you can check the videos from the sprint from moniviestin. Here's an example. It's Plone foresight at this point, and there's the video screen and stuff like that. We don't have Flash anymore, we just updated it, so it's HTML5 live streaming, whatever. It's modern and nice. Okay, about participants. There were 18 in the end. That was really nice. Our organizers and local development team, we had then Google Summer of Code student, and we had this professional UX designer and many well-known names from Plone community, so different people from around the world. And this was one thing I already told you about, that know when people are coming and know when they are leaving, and if they need something extra. When you have a new contributors to Plone, you need to sign this contributors agreement. It's really easy. You just download this one document and sign it, and then scan it and send to plone.org. Or if you have board members locally at your sprint, you can just ask them to give you the permissions right there and then. Okay, a couple of things about the importance of sprints. Based on feedback, we used Plone Form Gen to ask feedback of the sprint. Generally, the feedback was really nice. Thank you for that. But there was this question that how would you describe the value of sprint type of way of working? So what's the sprint, what extra does it give to our development? So there are these discussions between people that are in the same room, and there are different skill set people with different backgrounds and different specialties. And there's a certain timeline that you can focus on this certain thing. And also the social interaction is there. This is one thing that you can just walk from one table to another table and ask a question. You don't have to just Google it, like that is one instruction you can give. You really go to the other expert on the other table and they will help you. And at least at this sprint, and I think in usually Plone sprints, the atmosphere is really good, so it's having fun while programming. That's really nice. It makes working on complex topics easier when you have one big brain in your head and then you have 18 big brains around you. I think that helps. And a full week sprint is the best to focus on development and interaction, not just 1 day or 2 days. Bringing Plone forward and full week to eventually finish tasks, not just get them started. About our couple of new Plonistas, Plone developers, some criticism, though we tried to have this one goal in our sprint and one focus, people were doing many different things, not just one there, but it was an effective learning experience otherwise. And the other one was pleasantly surprised on how relaxed the atmosphere was from the very beginning, even with all the new people. So that's really nice. Okay, for University of Jyväskylä, so we had 6 developers there, and all could participate since it was locally hosted sprint. We had new Plone contributors with actual contributions during that week. That was nice. And if you think about sending 6 developers for a week to learn new things, it would be quite costly and expensive. But this time it wasn't. It really wasn't. Okay, then there's this cooperation aspect. Round table, you can discuss about things and do stuff together. And here are some actual costs. We had to rent the locations, and we sponsored lunches and snacks and field trip and sauna evening and some activities and bus tickets and SIM cards. But it was only about 2,000 euros, and I think for 18 people 1 week work, it's not that much for a university. Yes. If you want to know all the gritty, nitty details of the sprint, you can read ASCO's really thorough sprint final report with every pull request and detail. So there are lots of them. And to summarize things, it's not that difficult. It wasn't difficult to arrange this sprint. You just needed the funding and a suitable location, some website and marketing, that's easy. Maybe a theme or a couple of themes to focus on, local arrangements. Well, it takes your time as a host to plan and go through, but as I said, the Plone developers are self-organized and they know how to operate there. Of course, you need participants, that's the most important thing, not just to do stuff on yourself, and when to eat and have enough coffee. And yeah, it's a learning experience and place to focus on developing certain things. So, do not underestimate the power of friendly community working together. This is a nice group picture of us from last summer. And finally, if you book them, they will come to a Plone Sprint. Yes, thank you.